would keep me waiting, I would wait a lifetime. In tricky situations, I will be a lifeline. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, I know. Keep coming back for your time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. Ocean in between us, still I feel your heartbeat. There's something about you, baby, that makes me feel complete. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, I know. Keep coming back for your time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. The world is going wild when they come for you. The river's running dry when it all falls through. Don't you worry about a thing, baby, I got you. Yeah, baby, I got you.
Definitely, I will try it on in my house.
Lisa.
Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Monday podcast. Please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. We are powering towards 36,000 subscribers. So grateful for all of you who have joined us this last month. And thank you all for your really, really, really sweet messages. I am now doing a lot better, so much better. I actually had, for those of you who follow me on my travel page on Instagram at and the Nomad, if you want to follow me there, I had an incredible weekend. I went out with some new friends that I've made. It was actually like an Afrobeats festival, and obviously Afrobeats brings the good vibes, the good music, and the cool people. So that really just helped release a lot of tension, and yeah, I'm feeling really, really good. So thank you, and all of your messages also really, really helped as well. I'm so grateful to have this community and the way you look out for me, and the kind messages that you send me. So thank you. Another thing with all of that said, I think one of, again, and I've spoken about this before on the podcast, having issues with sleep. I think what happens sometimes is I have a really busy day and then I don't always have the energy to do podcasts in the evening. And then I kind of feel, pressured. So I do think eventually, when I'm gonna get my cards in order, I probably will switch the podcast time to early morning here in Indonesia where I am. So I'll probably go on maybe between like 7 to 9, just so that you can have it enough space. Because I think Baron usually comes on about like 12 or 1 Indonesian time. So yeah, I will probably switch to an early morning in Indo, so late night in US time, so that I can do podcasts in the morning and get them done in the morning. I think that would be better. Yeah, girl Lewis. Yeah, if you down under, exactly. But yeah, I will do it in a way that there's at least a couple of hours between mine and Baron's podcast, so you can have like some breathing space between podcasts. But thank you as always to all of you. But yeah, just so you know that that is coming, a change to time. Okay, on to it. Couple of things that have come through. Um, I wasn't even going to talk about this because unless it's like really important, I don't really like talking about the cams. The cams Christmas card. I hadn't really thought anything about this. Um, and then everybody started talking about it, even in the squad. I think even the Guardian wrote an article about this as well, and I'm going to read that out in a sec. But this to me, it doesn't look like a Christmas card. I think they were going for their sorry, for a modern Christmas card kind of look, but it wasn't working. And it's funny, yeah, the white shirts, the jeans. I just can't help but feel that there was someone in the palace that just saw what Harry and Meghan have done for the last couple of years and went with, okay, we're gonna try and do California cool with jeans and casual, and it ended up just looking like one of those family portraits that you got done at the shopping mall at Christmas, or maybe during the summertime because it's not really giving Christmas, but it's one of those like overpriced photographs, family photograph experiences at the shopping center kind of photographs. It's not working, and you can see when Harry and Meghan did it with the jeans, it was still kind of red. You could see, I think that's the tree in the background, or it still looked festive, even though it was modern. It still looked festive. And now, people are picking apart really weird things about the picture, like why is Louis missing a finger? Leg placements. Now, I have a theory about all of this. I think that they just made all these weird Photoshop um mistakes so that people would literally just talk about the picture. That's it. And Zoe Williams in her Guardian column, um, you know, she kind of makes a point of this. So let's give that a read. Um, so she says, on the Prince and Princess of Wales Christmas card, the family is shot in black and white against a mottled grey background of a material that looks almost furry, like a belly of mole. Y'all, even other people are saying it. And you know what? I appreciate when other people outside of the Sussex squad say it, because this is a Guardian journalist. Because I feel like sometimes if people in the squad say it, it can come off as just we're being mean. She goes on to say they are dressed casually, each in an open necked white shirt and jeans. And it can't help but seem like a nod to the kind of card Harry and Meghan would send. Indeed, they did match in denim 2 years ago, though both the setting and the body language were more relaxed. Thank you. Thank you for saying it. Where are the body language experts now, hey? In the Wells family picture released on Sunday, William is smiling like you owe him money. William is smiling like you owe him money. Kate looks quite showbiz and sassy, like she might have a shot at her own show if she could just sort out a more believable ensemble. George, self possessed, does not smile, while Louis has unwilling has unwilling participant at the orthodontist energy. Oh gosh. Um, yeah, it is giving kid that doesn't want to go to the dentist. Charlotte, however, has a smile enough for the lot of them. It sure as hell doesn't look festive with a bankery, rather ominous monochrome. The insistent visual reference point is the Adams family. And the well, the Adams family did actually love each other, as weird as they were. And the mood music is these are dark times we're living through. But not to worry, we are extremely rich. Fair play given the time of year. Maybe they think Happy Christmas is already implied without the need for colour or twinkles. But if not season's greetings, they're definitely trying to say something. Nobody wears a uniform without a purpose. A white shirt and jeans is very on trend, described by our fashion editor Jess Carter Morley as a friendly, open smile of an outfit. You're not trying to upstage or impress, you're just being yourself. The look has been called undone glamour and California cool. And insofar as we can relate either of those phrases to a real life meaning, it is not what the Welleses are at all. The habitual look is more Little Piper Boy for the kids and William with the side order of understated news reader glamour for Kate. This is not the prince and princess being themselves. This is them cosplaying some other family being themselves. A family that prefers its top button undone and its hair fresh from the beach. Ouch, ouch. But I'm so glad somebody else is saying it so we don't look mean. California core rejects formality, but there is no ease in its place, rather a studied, corporatized perfection. Exactly. Exactly. This is not them being themselves, it's them being someone else being themselves. And it looks like a corporatized copy and paste. It must be quite stressful for its participants. The visual language of the Americanized family. Here we are in our civvies. Take us as you find us, warts and all, except praise be, we don't have any warts. And there is one California couple, all too eager to show their warts of late, that this can't help but seem like a reference to. What new front this Christmas vibe snatching opens up in the war between the brothers and the wives is anyone's guess. Well, as far as that war goes, it's a one sided war. I think Harry and Meghan just generally want to mind their business. It's the other side that want to make it a war. And by the way, even the derangers weren't happy about this at all. These are comments, not from the squad, these are from derangers. Lacking festive spirit, it looks cold. Did they get it done at Sears, Walmart? I say this with love. They have the most beautiful grounds at their disposal. This is what they chose. Well, when you're trying to end homelessness, bring peace in the Middle East, and kill the environment of all its ills, might be a bit tone deaf to take photos, on your palace grounds. Kate Phillips said it would be much better in color. I agree. It seems cold, fake pictures. I would prefer something more royal. This is the problem that I think the other royals are having. They they are now trying to walk a fine line between being royal and given the illusion of royalness at a time when people's emotions are very high, they're sensitive, because we are living through hard times. So how can you be and look royal when at the same time um, there is bombs and misery and genocide in the news? How do you balance those two things? Ain't nobody want to see you be royal if on the next news story that there's dead bodies in bags. And I think they just don't know what and who to be right now. They have to relate to their old school audience because that's really all who's propping them up, and only by a hair. But that does not resonate, I think, with the majority anymore, especially not with the young, but even the middle-aged and elderly are getting sick and tired of this nonsense. Okay, I'll go through your comments and then we'll get on to the next thing. And that's the difference with Harry and Meghan. They know who they are, and that speaks to a certain audience. And I think Harry and Meghan, they've got fans across the political spectrum. But I think if you were going to just make a generalization, I would say their values and their fan base generally veers a little bit more to the left, whereas with the other royals it tends to veer more to the right. Yeah, like the Adams family actually love each other. That's why I never compare the royals to the Adams family, because the Adams family actually love each other. They're just weird. Okay, on to the next thing. All right, so obviously, Kate had her Christmas Carol thing. I don't know if she played the piano or the flute, or the triangle or whatever it was, but they had it, and people made note of some of the language that was used in the headlines by the tabloids, particularly the Daily Fail and the Sunday Telegraph. Um, because of the globalized world that we live in, certain slang terms or words, um, become can become commonplace across the ocean, or at least you can have an understanding of what they mean. So obviously, in the Sunday Telegraph, they use the term a Christmas cracker. Now, a cracker is obviously, a toy, and you pull it, and at Christmas, but it can also have another meaning when referring to a Caucasian person. And in the states, that's I've now come to understand um, that it's often used in that context. And then obviously with the Daily Fail, a royally white Christmas. I mean, there's no way the gossip rat at the Daily Fail who wrote, because I'm not going to call them journalists, wrote that and didn't think that that would look a certain way. I think it's very deliberate as far as I'm concerned, and I think it just speaks to the British tabloids, and them making it clear that they just don't care. They just don't care. In fact, they're doubling down. I think Sarah, no neck niggling feeling Vine, who is obviously still coping after Michael Gove divorced her. She wrote an article this week where again she was using very racially charged undertones in her writing. So I think that Fleet Street and Whitehall, Westminster, and the people in those circles, I think as far as they're concerned, there's nothing wrong here. There's nothing to see. We're all just being silly, and getting offended for no reason, and they just want to keep doubling down because this is just who and what they are. Another really interesting thing on the Sunday Telegraph, though, that I just wanted to make mention to. Can you see that headline on the top? Baroness Monet breaks her silence. Tory entrepreneur tells her side of the story of the PPP waste scandal. So this was the so she's been given a peerage. I think she's in the House of Lords. Um, and she was contracted somewhere within the region of I think 30 million um to to she was given a COVID contract to produce PPE during the pandemic. Now this is someone whose background is she became famous in the UK for starting a lingerie line, and she was given that huge contract, and it was a huge scandal because basically um the PPE it was just never followed through with. Sorry, it was either that it was never followed through with, or she was given the contract and it was followed through with, but the PPE was never needed. But long story short, she was given a hell of a lot of money because she's a Tory entrepreneur for a contract that was unnecessary or never followed through with. And here they are giving her front page um time and space to tell her side of the story and break her silence. So it's never complain, never explain, keep a dignified silence, and just take whatever crap we throw at you when it's everybody else. if you're poorer, working class, or a biracial duchess. But if you're a Tory entrepreneur who robbed the taxpayer of millions for dodgy PPE, you're allowed to break your silence, and we're going to give you a whole front page of the Sunday Telegraph to tell your side of the story. But let Meghan, let Harry try to tell their side of the story, and they're saying too much. They're doing too much. Why can't they just keep silent and go away? It's that double standard. So I noticed that, and I just wanted to point that out. Okay, we'll go to your comments, and then we'll continue on to the next thing. Yes, Patricia, I'm glad even other people are starting to acknowledge that they're just cosplaying Harry and Meghan. However, I want to also say I can't help but feel like they listen to us, because no one has been more better at making predictions and observations than the Sussex Squad. I don't think a lot of these UK writers in the press would have noticed a lot of the things that have been pointed out if it weren't for us. So I do think that they listen to us. Diane, where is Prince Edward lately? Prince Edward's been out and about. He has. I know that you probably don't, see him that often, but he is there in the background. He's there. Joan, you said, Duchess, that's about right. Their arism and corruption go hand in hand. It doesn't bother them. No, it doesn't bother them. It really does not. All right. Oh, Benjamin, you said this is the perfect time for me, Anne, right before I go to bed. Oh, fantastic. All right, the royals and their laziness. Let's have a look at this, shall we? So here we now have a tally of the 2023 engagements, and how many there were, how many hours, how many days, how many weeks, how many months. And it's rather interesting to look at. Just give me a sec, folks. There's something I need to double check. So days, weeks. So I'm looking at two different. So this is from Republic. So on Republic, they've tallied the amount of. So they've put it as hours, right? So you see that table that says hours, right? This assumes the average length of engagement is 1 hour. Many are no more than 20 minutes. So they've put the engagement hours, but on the Telegraph, the hours were put as days. So that's why I'm a little bit confused. Is it that Charles has done 425 engagements or 425 hours worth of engagements? But then I guess, as Republic have explained, that's assuming that the average length of engagement is 1 hour. So let's also just assume that the hours also means number of engagements, right? So topping that list would be Anne with 456 hours slash engagements. 456, and I don't know a single thing she actually did. So even when it does look like the royals are working with a very, very small W, that W on that working is as small as a grain of salt. Even when it looks like they're working, whatever they are doing, it is creating no impact whatsoever. Can somebody please tell me one engagement that Anne did this year and what impact it made? And you can also bet that a lot of those engagements are probably included with, the coronation, everything leading up to the coronation. They probably include all of those things. Okay, so second to Anne was obviously Charles. So Anne still did more than the monarch. And then the Duke of Edinburgh. Wait, who's the Duke of Edinburgh again? Um. Oh wait, is that Philip? Because these are from 2023. That's Philip, right? Um. Anyway, the Queen, when she was even in her last year, 233. Duchess of Edinburgh, 219. William, Prince of Wales, 172. So, and then Kate, 123. So, William and Kate, I mean, so you've got Anne still doing more than William and Kate combined. And then you've got Princess Michael, Prince Michael, Duke of York, and Princess Alexandra, just a couple at the bottom there. Oh dear. Um, sorry, I'm looking at a different chart from the Telegraph. That's not the one on the screen. But you can see from the screen, it's just pathetic. We're looking at combined, they've only done 6 months worth of work. So that's half a year. While the British taxpayer that's funding their lifestyle works all year round. I think in the UK we have mandatory, it's 2 weeks of holiday leave, but most places, like medium to large size companies, especially if they want to be competitive, usually offer you more. And these people only work for half the year. Again, work with a very small W, because nothing they do creates impact. And people will still defend. Oh, sorry. Here it is. Here's the one that I'm looking at. Although I like the other one breaks it down into months and weeks as well. Um, and people in the British public who are living on peanuts will still defend this. What is there to defend here? You are paying for people who are insanely privileged to do the bare minimum and praising them for it. Dear oh dear. Will never be free. Okay. Benjamin, no impact. Yeah. Somebody please tell me what Anne did. I mean, the best part of Anne's year was getting to dress like she's gonna get in a fight with Napoleon and jump on the back of that horse. She absolutely loves her coronation cosplay. She was loving it the most, you could tell. Yes, the impact was a smile and wave here and there, because we know that's what William loves to give out the most.
I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time, and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it's lots more than financial.
Yeah. Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So
Oh, Duke of Edinburgh is now Prince Edward. Thank you for clarifying that, because they changed the names and titles and trinkets, so I don't know who the hell is who. I don't know who the hell is who. Thank you so much, everyone, for letting me know that the Duke of Edinburgh is Edwina. Oh gosh. Yes, Hidley. Anne was busy getting the Sussexes ejected from Frogmore. That's what she was doing. Thank you, Ginger Lily, for dropping in. We appreciate you being here. Now you go get some rest. Yes, lazy, lazy, lazy. In conclusion, lazy, lazy, lazy. Summed it up. Benjamin, Diana was the best thing that ever happened to that family. She's what they needed in star power, yet they resented her for it. Yes. And it's sometimes I don't even understand it. At the end of the day, the most important thing for an institution like the British monarchy is to just keep going. Just keep kicking that can down the road. And with Diana, with Meghan, that can could have kept on kicking for another 4 or 5 generations, maybe. But they can't seem to put aside their egos. And this is why I think the courtiers have way too much power because they're still operating in this very old-fashioned way. If I was the British government, okay, if I was in charge of the British government and I want to keep this illusion of empire and monarchy going, you know what I would do? I would fire the courtiers and hire a whole bunch of Hollywood style PR people. That's what they should have done a long time ago to sell the dream and the fairy tale to the masses in the modern age. That's what you needed to do. You needed to put your egos to the side, put your bigotry to the side, and realize that the times have changed. So your strategy has to change also. Instead, we're still here wearing Monty Python cosplay with feathers on our heads. Look at this. Who of the young generation is going to look at this picture and be interested in this? Maybe a very small group who come from a certain, background. But the overwhelming majority of British people, of young people, heck, even middle-aged to older people, you're not going to tell me that they're looking at this and going, oh, this is like a fun modern monarchy and something that I'm going to be interested in. I can bet actually, if you showed this picture to a lot of people in the United Kingdom, they wouldn't even know what this was, where they were wearing this, or what event this was. Because truth be told, even for me, who grew up in the UK, I wasn't really even paying attention to these people before Meghan came into the scene. In fact, even when Meghan came into the scene, I really wasn't paying attention. It was only when things got ugly and the bullying got bad. That's when I paid attention. That's when I found the Sussex Squad. But even in the beginning phases of when Harry and Meghan were dating, I wasn't paying attention. I did not care about these people. They made people pay attention to them for all of the wrong reasons. And now you've got all our attention and we see you for what you are. And we're going to fix you. Because what they have done is unforgivable. Yeah, Tamiko, confused as hell too. Who died, what, when, and when did the titles change, and who is called what? Can't keep up, don't want to keep up. Benjamin, who is that Spanish guy talking in the clip you always play? I don't know if he's Spanish, babe. So this was that clip of William giving everybody a smile.
I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it's that's more than financial.
Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So
That was at a refugee center for Ukrainians. I don't actually think that man is Spanish. I know he's got a bit of an accent, but I don't think he's Spanish. But that was at a refugee center for Ukrainians, and William decided to show up and look at a group of people who have just escaped war and look them straight in the face and say, "I will." Here's a smile here and there. I don't know what it's like to escape war, but if someone as rich and wealthy as William looked me straight in the face and said, "Here's a smile here and there," you'd be very lucky I didn't swing. Dolores, I bet the British people don't even know what a patronage is. No. I mean, it would be interesting to do like a survey of the British public and ask them different questions. Like, do you know that Charles was taking money from nefarious figures from the Bin Laden family? Do you know that? Because it's just interesting whenever I come across people who are royalists. It's always this kind of, well, it's better that we do have them. But I think now I'm going to start asking questions like that. Don't you think it's weird that Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell was sitting in the Queen's cabin? What do you think of that? Don't you think it's weird that Charles is taking money from the Bin Laden family? I don't think a lot of them actually know these things because even when they do get reported in the press, they're reported very quietly. They're printed in small print. They're uploaded onto the news websites at 2 a.m. in the morning and on the back page of the news website by the time anybody wakes up. Bella, the hats look like my bonnets that I sleep in. They do actually look like a silk bonnet, no? Oh, hilarious. Okay. Oh, let me actually. Sorry, before we do move on to the next thing, let me read this article from Republic, the anti-monarchy group. Let me just get it on the screen for y'all. Okay, so Prince William costing taxpayer 127,000 an hour. Campaigners have criticised the latest suggestion that the royals are working hard after the Telegraph reported the number of engagements they had carried out this year. Although spun as showing a hard-working family, the number suggests the royals do the equivalent of no more than 2 months of full-time work each year. William has carried out just 172 engagements, which amounts to no less than 1 month full-time work. Kate did even less with just 123 engagements. Engagements last an average of 1 hour, although many are much shorter. The campaign group Republic points out that the country effectively pays Prince William over 127,000 an hour. The Duchy of Cornwall, which is a public asset owned by the Crown, will pay William an income of more than 22 million a year. Charles now receives a similar income from the Duchy of Lancaster, also a state asset. That means he is costing the country almost 52,000 an hour. Between the so-called working royals, the schedule adds up to just over 6 months of full-time work. What they do is not work in the normal sense of the word, and a substantial number of engagements are near or at their main residences. Graham Smith, CEO of Republic, called the latest figures a disgrace. William likes to claim he works hard, adding one issue after another to his list of missions. First he'll tackle Middle East peace, then the environment, and now homelessness. The truth is that he barely works at all. Nah, you're not gonna tell me that they don't listen to us. Graham Smith, CEO of Republic, you listen to the Sussex Squad podcast. You listen to Baron, you listen to me. It takes a deep sense of entitlement and a lack of seriousness. It takes a deep sense of entitlement and a complete lack of serious scrutiny for William, Kate, and the others to rake in multi-million-pound fortunes to enjoy the status and privileges of their positions while doing so little. That exactly. Anne is trumpeted as the most hardworking of them all, yet she only managed the equivalent of 2 months in 2023. This is one of the main reasons to ditch the monarchy. We can have an accountable, serious, and hardworking head of state who is on a decent salary and not being lavish with an opulent lifestyle at the expense of the taxpayer. The rules claim the two duchies, the Duchy of Cornwall and Lancaster, are private estates, yet they are property of the Crown and originate from the same place as land held by the Crown estate. The historic record is quite clear, and these estates are only in the hands of Charles and William because Parliament allows that arrangement to continue. So I think that's something that we can actually look at having. This is why I keep saying, guys, this is why I don't agree to, at this point, I'm not saying that I don't think that we should abolish the monarchy eventually, but at this point I don't believe that we should have a referendum. I think there's other things that you can do to consolidate the power, and this what's been mentioned here is a very good one. The historic record is quite clear that these estates are only in the hands of Charles and William because Parliament allows it. So you could very easily lobby for Parliament to not allow it. You could very easily, if you wanted to, lobby to have the royal family removed from the British taxpayers' purse strings. Make them fund themselves, because if they're gonna do 456 engagements and have absolute no impact, do you know what? You should fund yourselves. You should fund yourselves. Why is my taxpayer money funding you? I mean, and if you did both of those two things, lobby Parliament to discontinue that arrangement where they are able to hold land by the Crown Estate and so therefore profit from the Crown Estate and take them off the taxpayers' purse strings. I mean, I personally would be happy with that. Oh, and have all the Commonwealth countries leave the Commonwealth. If you did all those three things, I mean, you've basically abolished the monarchy. Then it's just the United Kingdom that has a monarch. Right. We'll go. Sorry, I will read your comments and then we'll go on to the last thing that I wanted to talk about. Reba, you said the list is trying to compare themselves with Harry and Meghan with that zero. How many people did they feed or help find a home? Yeah, exactly. There was no point. I think Reba is referring to this one, the Telegraph one. There was no point of even having um Harry on that list because he's no longer a working royal. Lorna, all I know is that Princess Anne was in Canada twice for anniversary of Guards and once for a meeting in Banff, Alberta. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Did anybody else in the chat know that? Do you think the majority of the British public knew that? So Laura, the British taxpayers don't ask questions. No. They would prefer to just stand in the rain during the coronation while the rich folk with their fluffy hats and velvet robes were riding through town in gold carriages in the middle of a cost of living crisis. Yes, that's true, Gail Lewis. People would rather believe the fairy tale than be disillusioned with the truth. And I saw this myself the day after the Queen died, and I went down to the palace and I was walking amongst all of those, flowers and tributes. And there's one that I think I'll never forget. Someone left a bag, a leather bag, and in the bag, just popping out of it, it was full of roses, and then they put a picture of a baby, and they wrote a note, and it was a mother um who had written a letter to the queen, and she was talking about how she felt like the queen was her grandmother, and that picture of the baby was her daughter. So she clearly had this connection to the queen where she felt like the queen was a grandmother even to her daughter. And then that is the fairy tale that you're talking about. And that is how strong that fairy tale is for a lot of people. And listen, I get it. You want to have a sense of national pride, of community, but I feel that pride and community about a lot of things. As a British person, I don't think the monarchy is the only avenue where you can feel that, and it's certainly um one that is steeped with such a complex and difficult history that to make that the main symbol, I think is quite problematic. Mm. Oh yeah, and don't forget Charles taking money from the dead. Yeah, I mean this isn't something that I found out about until I came out here on these royal streets. I didn't know about that. Bunny, they don't work. No, they don't. Yeah, Parliament needs to be changed. I know that there are some people who want to get rid of the House of Lords and lifelong peerages. Vera, and you've got 2 emails from me, Christmas cards, beginning with one for your mum. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Vera. I will look at my email. Thank you. You are all so awesome. Gwendolyn, Anne is crazy as a loon. Yes. Out here on her horse, looking like she's going to get into a fight with the ghost of Napoleon. Sophie, will hold on to your hats. Virginia's gag order has expired, and she has signed a mega deal with her publisher for her first memoir. Yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see what she says, and if there's anything that she has to say that will be, what we didn't know already, especially with her involvement with Andrew. But I'm glad that she gets to speak her truth. Okay, let's move on to this. So, as part of Harry's case to allow him to pay for security, it has now come out that the Queen wanted effective security for Harry and Meghan. And this was written in a letter by the Queen's private secretary, then Sir Edward Young. But it would appear that Edward Young is a two-faced, double-headed snake. Because he was also one of the ones that tried to sabotage Harry and Meghan. So, Queen Elizabeth II wanted the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to continue to have effective security after they quit as working royals, court documents have revealed. The details emerge in the legal judgment given in Harry's High Court libel case against Associated Newspapers on Friday. The Duke is suing ANL over a February 2022 article about his legal challenge against the Home Office following a decision to change his publicly funded security arrangements when visiting the UK. An extract from a letter written by the late Queen's private secretary, Sir Edward Young, to then Cabinet Secretary Sir Mark Sedwill on January the 31st of 2020, reported on what had been agreed at the Family Sarandon Summit on January 3rd. It outlined the expectations the Duke and Duchess would have when attending engagements in the UK and the position of his grandmother on these and other issues. Focusing on security, Sir Edward wrote, You will understand well that ensuring the Duke and Duchess of Sussex remain safe is of paramount importance to Her Majesty and her family. Given the Duke's public profile by virtue of being born into the royal family, his military service, the Duchess's own independent profile, and the well-documented history of targeting of the Sussex family by extremists, it is imperative that the family continue to be provided with effective security. And in an apparent nod to the death of Harry's mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, he added, and of course, the family is mindful of tragic incidences of the past. So this was in the letter. So what changed? The judgment stated that the letter did not refer to an offer personally to reimburse or proactively to finance the cost of state security so as not to burden the taxpayer, which the Duke claims he made during the Sarandon Summit. Sir Edward's letter also went on to make clear the late Queen and the royal family recognised that the process for making decisions about the publicly funded security were independent and are for the UK government, the government of Canada, and any other host government. High Court Judge Mr. Justice Nicklin was previously told the Mail on Sundays first reported that the Duke was taking legal action against the Home Office in January of 2022. The press statement issued on Harry's behalf at the time. Oh, by the way, Priti Patel was head of the Home Office at that time. And she had also previously made a comment that, Meghan hadn't faced any racial bias in the UK. A press statement issued on Harry's behalf at the time said he and his family were unable to return to his home due to the lack of police protection needed in the UK. It added, the Duke first offered to pay personally for UK police protection for himself and his family in January of 2020 at Sarandon. The offer was dismissed. He remains willing to cover the cost of security as not to impose on the British taxpayer. For the last freaking time, Harry wants to pay for his own security. I think this is what really it irks them, because they know that Harry has the money. And so they can't, even though they keep trying to spin this narrative that Harry is trying to take the UK taxpayer for a ride. And as I have said, I think um, I still believe that security is something that he is entitled to, and that should be paid for. But nonetheless, he wants to pay for it himself. And they keep on trying to paint the narrative um, that he wants his security paid for. So what can you do? You can only try and correct the narrative and the lies. But Edward Young, this shady character. Let's look a little bit more into who this guy is. So he was the late Queen's private secretary, and he has also now been made a permanent lord in waiting to Charles. So this snake was given an honor by Charles. And this just really shows you, I think, how mean-spirited Charles is. So in August of last year, was it August of last year? Give me a sec. One moment, folks. No. It was August of this year. Young stepped down from his role in the royal household, and Charles gave him an honor. So Sir Edward. So I'm reading this from a Tatler article, by the way. Sir Edward Young, the Queen's trusted private secretary, who stayed on in the role to assist the transition to the new reign, has been made a permanent lord in waiting to Charles. There are two types of lord in waiting. One, political, those who have been appointed by the government, and non-political, appointed by the monarch. On rare occasions, senior courtiers are given the honour of being appointed a permanent lord in waiting. Holders of this position include Lord Young and may represent His Majesty at important state and royal occasions. Please bear that in mind. They may represent His Majesty at important state and royal occasions. So this is a very high honour in the royal house. And yet this is someone who has been very shady when it comes to dealings of Harry and Meghan. Holders of this position, is it Marquis of Cholmondeley? So that's our dear Rose's husband. The neighbor of, oh no, that is Rose. That is Rose, not the husband. That is her. The neighbor of William and Kate is among the other permanent lords in waiting. So that's why Rose can show up to state events wearing jewelry from the royal vault. Like, how wild is that? People are literally in bed with each other. Oh, hold on, give me a sec, folks. My screen isn't loading for some reason. Oh, one moment, folks. I don't know what's happening here. Okay, thank you for being patient. I'm going to read it from my screen because my phone is being funny. Okay, so to continue that article, Lord Young dutifully served the Queen from 2004 until her death in September 2022. To support King Charles, Lord Young briefly served as private secretary alongside his right-hand man, Sir Clive Alderton, another one of the snakes, or the bee, the wasp, the you know, the bee, the wasp, the fly, as Harry said. Lord Young retired shortly after the coronation in May after 19 years in the royal household. The palette, 19 years. Okay, so he's been around since. Let me just double check this. 2020, 2019, 2004. Okay. Okay, so he wasn't around during the Diana years. Okay. A palace spokesperson said at the time that Young had brought a vast reservoir of wisdom and experience to bear on helping deliver the change of reign. Well, clearly, we can't see that, sir. If that's the case, we can't see it. We can't see the change because we've got royals out here riding around in colonizer cosplay on jeeps in Jamaica. So please tell me where the change is. Sir Clive Alderton said at the time, Edward has been an outstanding colleague and a dear friend for almost 2 decades. He made an invaluable contribution to the closing years of the late Queen's reign to help support the transition. He will be much missed by us all. In his retirement, Lord Young was given several honours, of course, to keep, tell him to keep his mouth shut. He's been appointed a Grand Cross of the Order of the Bath, an ancient order of chivalry, and promoted within the Royal Victorian Order to Knight Grand Cross. He was also appointed a Lord in Waiting. What would these people be without their titles? Because all they are is titles. Empty titles and medals. And this is the problem. They are so used to this idea of because I have this title, but in reality, even if you look at the whole of British society, who do these titles really mean other than to the upper class aristos between each other? Do you think any of this means anything to the average British person walking the streets who, quite frankly, is quite unaware of how this aristoclass works and operates? Most people are just very much unaware. Without these titles, they're nothing. And I think this is one of the reasons why they are so just incensed at Meghan. Because she went in there, created impact, and in a way that spoke to people. And try as they may, dress up in white t-shirts and jeans and monochrome photo shoots that look like overpriced shopping mall family photo shoots. As they can do all of that, do it all. They cannot replicate what Meghan has. They cannot replicate what Diana has, and it irks them. The best they can do is give themselves titles. Anyway, just to finish, a discreet figure around the palace, Lord Young was immortalized in Prince Harry's memoir Spare under the pseudonym The Bee. The Duke of Sussex said Lord Young was known as The Bee thanks to his oval face and fuzzy appearance and tendency to glide around with poise. He added that the private secretary was so poised that people didn't fear him. Big mistake, sometimes their last mistake. The private secretary is the most senior member of the royal household. He is responsible for supporting the king in his duties as head of state, described by the royal family as a channel of communication between the head of state and the government. He also liaises with the armed forces, the church, and the many organizations of which His Majesty is patron. When you've got someone who looks, like a Bond villain, he literally looks like a Bond villain. When this is the person who is communicating between you and the government and you and the church and you and the patronages, well, no wonder things are a mess. Does this look like someone who understands how the modern world works? Very, very old school guy. Definitely not someone who understands why it looks incredibly dodgy for you to have royals in colonizer cosplay riding around in jeeps in Jamaica. In fact, he's probably the one that would suggest that you do that. And with that said, yeah, I'm gonna end it there. We're gosh, going over an hour. Oh, where does the time go? Where does the time go? Appreciate you all, my loves. Thank you as always for your support. You have no idea what it means to me. I'm still trying to figure out my way and my, you know, direction out here on the other side of the planet. You know that for me, my move leaving the UK is very much a permanent one. You know, the UK is no longer going to be a home for me. I'm still trying to figure out what home is going to be, and I feel like little by little, as the days go on, and I think as the months and the years go on, I will figure out what where home is going to be. Um, but it's great to have a supportive and fun and dynamic, colorful community um, to get to speak to and find community in while I'm trying to do that. And you've literally been here throughout my whole first year, going across countries and continents, and you continue to be here, and I really appreciate that. All right, we'll finish with your comments, and then I will let you go. Because yeah, if Baron hasn't come on, he probably wants to come on. And I want to give you some resting time before he comes on. Um, Adrian, British citizens underestimate themselves. Yeah, I think we do underestimate how much power we could have, but you got to grow the backbone, right, to exert that power. Sharon, clinging onto charity and tourism is clever since they cannot be properly quantified. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Gail Lewis, is he the bee or the wasp? Apparently the bee. Gal, looks more like a scorpion. Are you talking about him? Are you talking about Edward Young? No, it's giving bee. Scorpion, hmm. That would be maybe Christian Jones. Scorpion would be Christian Jones because whatever sting that Christian Jones can cause is so deadly, the whole Royal Institution is protecting him. So Christian Jones is Scorpion. Dan Wooten is a spider. Got his nasty web and legs everywhere. Jason Knopf, the frog. Slimy as hell. Lee Thompson, the cockroach, was skittering around Meghan during that royal walk when the Queen died. Those are their spirit animals. Thank you so much, Dell, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Thank you. Gwendolyn Charles and pegging William kept the Queen hidden away from Harry and Meghan. Well, if it's the case that the Queen was being controlled and handled, well then you got to admit that it's all just an illusion, and that she's not your sweet grandmother, that she's just a symbol for this institution and all that it stands for, and all that the power that it holds, the wealth that it holds. Angela, you said, look at the Queen's hands when she's pictured near the red box picture. She was sick, I think. The red box picture, I don't know what picture you're talking about, but I know that when she was pictured shaking hands with the with Liz Truss, she had that bruise on her hand. That was, I think, a lot of people started asking questions then. And there were also the pictures when she was pictured next to the horses, and she was wearing that green coat, that dark green coat that wasn't buttoned properly. And people started wagging their finger at Angela Kelly, like, what's going on? Oh my days. They really are spinning the narrative, you said, and the man wants to just pay for to protect his family. Just let him, exactly. And please keep reminding yourself of that and reminding other people of that. What Harry wants is to pay for his own protection, and they won't let him. He's not trying to get taxpayer funded protection, which of course I believe that he is owed. He wants to pay for it himself. They will not allow. How do you not allow someone to pay for something which they have the right to pay for, and then try and punish them for that? It's like I walk into Louis Vuitton. I want to buy a Louis Vuitton bag. You won't let me pay for the bag. Okay, let me walk out with the bag. Now you want to arrest me because you're saying that I'm stealing the bag? I was going to pay for it. You wouldn't let me pay for the bag, and I want the bag. So how are you now punishing me? I had the money to pay for the bag. I wanted the bag, you said no. So I took the bag. All right, I think someone just put a comment that Baron was about to start. So I'm going to let y'all go. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.
If you would keep me waiting, I would wait a lifetime. In tricky situations, I will be a lifeline. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, I know. Keep coming back for you time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. Ocean in between us, still I feel your heartbeat. There's something about you, baby, that makes me feel complete. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, I know. Keep coming back for you time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter